Jacob's expression was a little unnatural, and he said falteringly, "Isn't it the same classmates in my class before?" "You all know it." Elaine asked, "Didn't you just visit the other day? Why did you meet again?" Jacob said, "Didn't we just go to more than 20 people last time, but today there are a few more people." "Oh." Elaine frowned and asked sternly, "Jacob, let me ask you, is Mei-Ching here?" Jacob suddenly panicked. He didn't expect that Elaine would be able to ask Mei-Ching all of a sudden. This woman's intuition is really a bit too accurate, right? However, he must not dare to say anything about Mei-Ching to Elaine, so he lied. "No, she has been away for more than 20 years and has never come back." Elaine asked coldly, "Really not?" Jacob hurriedly said, "Oh, I really didn't. Why would I lie to you, and now you care about whether this is turning the cart before the horse? The most important thing now is to look at your injury. Is your leg broken?" Elaine was patronizing to find out about Jacob's affairs. She couldn't even take care of her already injured and broken leg. After being reminded by Jacob, she remembered the pain in her right leg. So she hurriedly said to Claire, "Good girl, take Mom to see a doctor. Don't let Mom leave any disability." After leaving the emergency room and seeing the doctor, Claire asked nervously, "Doctor, how is my mother's situation?" Elaine was afraid that she would have 3 long and 2 shortcomings, and hurriedly asked, "Yes, doctor, how is the result of the examination?" "I won't be Elaine?" The doctor said to Elaine, "From the X-rays, you have a comminuted fracture of your calf. The condition is more serious, but if you take good care of your injury, you should not be lame. I suggest you get a cast first and then be hospitalized for observation. About half a month, before that we can guarantee nothing." Elaine was relieved when she heard that she would not become lame, but when she heard that she needed to be hospitalized, she was immediately anxious. "Ah? Why I am going to be hospitalized? After the cast, can I go home and recuperate?" The thought that she hadn't lived in the luxurious Thompson first-class mansion until now, Elaine felt aggrieved. After 2 days of inhuman torture, she dreamed of returning to the big villa, lying on the soft big bed, and feeling the joy of living in Thompson. The doctor shook his head and said, "The first half-month of the cast is very important. It is related to your overall recovery. If you go home, if something goes wrong and one is not dealt with in time, it may be the root cause of the disease." Upon hearing this, Elaine's face suddenly filled with loss. However, Jacob on the side was full of joy. Elaine came back suddenly, and it was irreversible for him, but if Elaine could be hospitalized, he could relax for a few more days. Therefore, he deliberately said to Elaine, "Wife, you can follow the doctor's arrangement and stay in the hospital with peace of mind, so as to avoid leaving the root of the disease in the future." Elaine frowned and looked at Jacob, and asked, "What? You just don't want me to go home?" Jacob hurriedly waved his hand, "I didn't mean that." Elaine snorted coldly, remembering something, and then hurriedly asked Charlie, "Didn't you happen to know the genius Dr. Tianchi? You immediately call him and ask him to come and treat my leg." Charlie's brows suddenly frowned upon hearing the tone of his mother-in-law's order. For AB*TCH like Elaine, still want Tianchi to treat her legs? Charlie sneered in his heart, and said indifferently, "Mr. Shi is not in Orus Hill for the time being, he has gone to Eastcliff to treat someone." Upon hearing this, Elaine immediately said, "Then I will wait for him to come back?" Charlie said, "She may not be able to come back in 10.5 months. The doctor said, you have to put a plaster first, no matter what." Elaine said immediately, "Okay. Then put a cast first, and I will go home and rest after the cast." When Jacob saw Elaine insist on being so persistent, he knew that it was impossible for her to be hospitalized. He couldn't help but secretly conceal the news of Mei-Ching's return from her for a while. He mentions divorce, then she will definitely not agree. That being the case, it is better to go back at night and find a chance to divorce her first. It is best to let her divorce first. After Elaine got cast in the People's Hospital, Jacob drove home to rest. Along the way, Elaine kept scolding Jacob next to him, and at the same time beating on the side, trying to figure out why he dressed himself so glamorously for the party today. However, Jacob's mouth was tighter than a safe. He just wanted to wait for a good time tonight to discuss the divorce with Elaine, so he must not let Elaine know about Mei-Ching before that. In the other car, Charlie drove Claire with red eyes, and drove unhurriedly behind Jacob's car. Claire was very sympathetic to her mother. After all, she was a son and daughter. Anyone who saw the mother suffered so many injuries and so many tortures would feel uncomfortable. In addition, one thing that worries her is the relationship between her father and mother. She knew that her father liked Mei-Ching. Compared with Mei-Ching, her mother was far behind, so she was worried that her father would finally give up the current marriage and pursue his own happiness. Charlie saw the wife on the side with a sad face, and was about to persuade her, when he suddenly received a call from Isaac. Isaac asked him on the phone, "Mr. Wade, have you received your mother-in-law?" Because his wife was by his side, Charlie couldn't speak too clearly, so he said vaguely, "Yes." Isaac said, "That's good,